This is the phone at the center of Wagatha Christie trial just moments before it was lost in the North Sea forever. The phone at the center of the Wagatha Christie trial is caught on camera just minutes before it dropped from the hands of Rebecca Vardy's PR manager into the North Sea. The husband of Caroline Watt today reveals for the first time how her iPhone 12 Pro mobile ended up in Davy Jones's locker. It allegedly contained vital WhatsApp messages between Becky and Caroline. The phone became an object of ridicule in the High Court libel case as Becky sued Colleen Rooney and featured in Colleen's new £1 million Wagatha TV series. Football manager Steve Watt said, "As far as I was concerned, the court case was the end of it, but it's being brought up again by people in the public eye. I'm sick of reading and hearing inaccurate things about it. I want to set the record straight. The dropping of the phone was a simple accident." Steve put out a never-before-seen picture of the day the phone went missing on Tuesday, August 10, 2021. It shows him sitting beside Caroline, who is holding the mobile, on a Scottish sightseeing boat trip in choppy seas moments before it went overboard. After Colleen accused Becky of leaking stories from her private Instagram account in 2019, the country was gripped by their High Court libel trial last summer. Becky was ordered to pay the defendant £1.5 million in costs after the judge ruled Colleen's Wagatha Christie accusations were substantially true. Caroline's phone took center stage in the proceedings when it was said that WhatsApp messages sent by her were not part of the libel claim as it was at the bottom of the North Sea. Colleen's barrister said the disappearance was fishy and commented that it appeared it was far from an accident. Judge Mrs. Justice Stein said that on the evidence before her, it was likely Caroline had deliberately dropped it in the sea. Ex-Chelsea footballer Steve said, "It might be convenient for wealthy people to lose £1,000 phones, but it certainly wasn't for us. And it made Caroline even more stressed. Caroline and I wish we'd never, ever set foot on that boat. This wasn't a luxury yacht in Dubai, this was a drizzly day in Aberdeenshire. The sea was choppy and Caroline dropped the phone purely by accident." Steve, 38, grew up near Macduff in the county, and it was from there that he and Caroline took the trip with their son, who is now 14, and daughter, now 8. He said, "The kids have always wanted to go on the sea up there to try to see dolphins and seals. I'd never agreed because my daughter was too young, but anyone with kids knows what it is like to be nagged and nagged. If there's anybody to blame for this, it is me, because I decided to arrange the trip for them." The jaunt was due to last for 2 hours but was cut short. Steve explained, "There was our family, another family, a skipper, and a woman from the boat company on board. To begin with, me and Caroline were sitting down on a bench at the back next to the main standing passenger area. When we were there, her phone fell out of her coat pocket and the woman from the boat company told her, 'Be careful, we don't have insurance for lost property.' Caroline then held it in her hand. It was a bit choppy. A little girl from the other family and her mum started being seasick. Because of it all, our daughter and Caroline started to feel unwell. Caroline was standing, leaning on the railings overlooking the water and concentrating on the horizon to try to stop herself from being ill. I was cuddling our daughter behind her. In hindsight, if all the sickness hadn't started, we would still be sitting down and it would never have all happened." The children were thrilled when the skipper spotted a seal. Steve said, "He cut the engine so as not to scare it. The boat was rocking from side to side when we stopped. Caroline took the seal on her phone. When the engine started again, it went into action just as another boat passed us on the other side. Our boat went through the wake and there was a judder, a jolt. Caroline did a little stumble forward onto the railings. I saw the phone drop towards the water. She just turned round and said, 'I've dropped my phone.' That was the first thing that came out of her mouth, F. Straight-talking Steve says that his wife is clumsy and has osteoarthritis. He added, "It is very painful in her right thumb, not so bad in the left. She takes medication for it. She gets a lot of pain, especially in cold conditions when it seizes up. The phone just fell out of her hand as the boat moved." During the court case there were several references to the phone. Caroline had been expected to figure in the proceedings but did not attend following psychiatric reports. Colleen's barrister said it was like performing Hamlet without the Prince of Denmark. As the court discussed the missing phone, the legal expert said it was a shame potentially crucial messages were lying at the bottom of the sea in Davy Jones' locker. Rebecca replied, "Who is Davy Jones?" As sniggers could be heard in the courtroom, Mrs. Justice Stein explained that it meant the bottom of the sea. "Last night Steve said, I knew what Davy Jones' locker meant. My son and I like Pirates of the Caribbean and I grew up next to the sea, so it is a phrase you are quite familiar with." In her new series Colleen Rooney, The Real Wagatha Story, the wife of England legend and new Birmingham City manager Wayne details her private life. She tells how she played detective, talks about the famous libel case and discusses Caroline. Steve added, "When anything comes up like this, I can see Caroline going into herself. I love Caroline and I am tired of her being quizzed constantly. I am sick of people talking nonsense using stories that are simply not true for their own benefit to justify things. You